It's that lovely time of the year. Things are beginning to happen in our gardens, and with all this lovely fresh colour just beginning to pop up on the nursery. And just to cheer ourselves up on some of these dull days, we just thought it'd be nice to show you a plant container with lots of this lovely seasonal colour this morning at Ivor. So I got one of these pots. It's one of the gorgeous new ranges we've got in stock this season. I think this is the most beautiful pot. I'm definitely having one. And I'm just going to do a blue, white and yellow planting scheme. It's one of my favourites. Especially these lovely bright yellows cheer you up at this time of the year. And of course with all those lovely tete-a-tete and narcissi coming through this time of the year, these are just so delightful. And just to gauge and get a good idea of what will fit into my pot, I've chosen some plants. I've chosen about 4 or 5 plants, and I've just, before I start planting, just popped them here in my pot, kind of to get an idea if they'll fit and just to see how those things will go together. Now for us here at Flowerland at this time of the year, as well as colour, it's absolutely all about fragrance. We've got some great cracking fragrant plants available at the moment. We've got this beautiful one here, DAPHNE Eternal Fragrance. Daphnes are evergreen like this one here, and the fragrance is outstanding. But the great thing about Eternal Fragrance, in addition to flowering in the spring like other Daphnes, this flowers for the whole season, right through the summer. This particular fragrant plant is brand new to our range this season. It's a perennial wallflower. The variety is Sea Breeze. The fragrance is just amazing. It sort of smells slightly aniseedy, but maybe kind of smells sort of kind of fresh primrose fragrance, I'd say. And this particular Primula Aztec Gold here, again from our nursery, it's got a lovely fresh spring fragrance to it. Other fragrant plants we're using in this container, we've got our hyacinths in flower at the moment, and we've got these in all colours including pink, white and blue, and it's unmistakable, that lovely fragrance from hyacinth. Then just to give some taller evergreen structure to our arrangement, I'm using SKIMMIA, and the variety I'm using is Finchy. Unlike the red one, it's got these lovely white plumes, and once these open, the fragrance on this will be magical. And finally, just for a pop of winter colour, I'm going to pop in some heathers and possibly maybe some lovely fragrant polyanthus and some lovely little mini narcissi. So let's get going. When you check your pot, always make sure that there's a drainage hole at the base, but it's very important not to clog or block that drainage hole. Previously we would have recommended crocks at the base, and you know that's okay too if you prefer that and that's all you've got. But I've been researching recently and I've noticed that proven winners and quite a few other companies are actually now recommending instead that it's a good idea to use some moss like this sphagnum moss here at the base just to cover over the holes. And the reason for that is the moss will actually still let the water penetrate through, but it won't impede the drainage and the capillary flow of water in your container. Next up, I'm going to pop in my planting media. And I'm actually using some pot and basket compost. Now the reason why it's good to use pot and compost, this type of the pot and basket compost, it's got all the nutrients that your plants will need, and the nutrients last for about 6 to 8 weeks. After that you can possibly top up then with some fertilizer. I prefer to use organics like this fish blood and bone meal here. So we just literally tip some of that soil into our container. Probably a good idea to bring it indoors the night beforehand, because it could either be frozen or a bit on the cold side. So we get all of that soil out, and then we just start to break up those lumps. Probably add another little bit as well, actually. Just make sure that that's well broken up and fluffed up so that the roots can penetrate the soil. Just get that well mixed up like you're mixing a cake. All that lovely compost, and you can see all that goodness that's been added, all that fertilizer, and actually you can see there's some perlite in this mix as well. Just to ensure there's good drainage, I like to add a little bit extra perlite just to make sure. So we've got some perlite here. You can see what perlite looks like. It's just like this fluffy foamy stuff. So just grab a few handfuls of that and just mix that all up nicely into my planting media. And there's nothing quite like making sure that the drainage is adequate when you're planting containers, because these plants have got to perform and last a long time until we get ready for the summer bedding planting. Bear in mind as well, of course, with these evergreen plants and other plants I'm using, once these have actually finished flowering, they're good to go and plant out in your garden. So that's nice and even and just firm down gently. Just going to check with the SKIMMIA the planting height. Probably just about right, I'd say. Just give another gentle firm down there. And we're going to use this SKIMMIA and plant it more or less about there as a centerpiece for our container. It's a little bit root bound, so what I'm doing is I'm just teasing out the roots ever so gently, just to help those roots to get going and they find their way into the soil. So just pop that in there, anchor it. Now if you notice the level, it's when I'm planting, it's a good inch down from the height of the pot. And the reason for that is, if you've got that extra lip of inch of container left, that will be a good reservoir literally when you go to water, and the water won't tip out over the edge, and it's a good way of ensuring that this plant gets well watered. So up next, I'm going to put my highly fragrant hardy wallflower, the Spring Breeze Sun Glow. Just the fragrance on that is just amazing. Just makes you feel like spring. And because I love the blue and white combo, I'm just going to pop in some hyacinth there. And you can play around, a little bit, if you weren't quite sure whether that was going to work and you want to change it around a bit. Maybe you might want to change your mind and add another hyacinth. Feel kind of free to experiment a little bit as you go. I'm going to add another hyacinth because I just need to get a good fix of spring scent. So we pop that in. Possibly then pop in a tete-a-tete. These have been growing on our nursery since the autumn. I'll have to tweak that a little bit just to get that out. There we go. Just pop that in. Actually, I'll probably put that a little bit further on because I think I need something a little bit lower here. And I think I'm going to pop in one of these lovely white heathers. Just give it a little bruise there to help the roots to spread out. It'll need a bit of extra soil because it's much shorter. Excuse me. I'll pop some extra soil in just to get that right on the height, just here. It's lovely just there. Let me see what I'm going to have a go at next. I think I might actually put in one of these lovely polyanthus here. I love polyanthus because they grow on a tall stem and they grow much taller than primroses. So pop our polyanthus in there. Lovely. And I'll go for this lovely evergreen creamy white euonymus. Not that just about there. It's lovely. Just position this around a little bit, give these enough space and room. And all we need to do now is just get some more soil. Just place it between the plants, firm it in really well, just up to the height about an inch from the top, and give it a really good soaking, a really good water, just to give everything a really good chance to get going. Other plants you might like to consider as a useful centerpiece, you could go with this euonymus here. It's Kathy, or you could go with this cute little Picea conifer. Alternatively, you could plant one of these lovely tight little leafed euonymus microphyllus albomarginatus. If you want something cascading that's evergreen with these gorgeous flowers in the spring, you could try Vinca Ralph Stuttgart. One of our all-time favorites you could consider actually is the CHOISYA Aztec Pearl. It's got the lovely opal fruit scented foliage, and it's prolific in white flower all summer long. And not forgetting another spring favorite, we've got these gorgeous double HELLEBORUS. Here we've got this lovely Ellen pink with that lovely soft blush pink double flower. And there we go, that's ready to place in a nice prominent position in your front garden to greet all your neighbours and friends, and you obviously as you come home from work, and enjoy that lovely fragrance. Oh, it's just divine. Absolute favourite, that one. Gorgeous.